The rain poured relentlessly that night, cold, heavy, and unforgiving. Beneath an old bridge, a weak whimper echoed through the storm. A trembling dog, soaked to the bone, lay beside a torn cardboard box, and inside it, 3 motionless puppies. That's where Sarah found them, broken, forgotten, but not yet gone. Sarah was a young animal rescuer who had seen pain before, but never like this. She was on her way home from a long day at the shelter when she noticed something unusual. A small shadow under the bridge that didn't move, even as the headlights flashed past. Curiosity turned into fear as she stepped out into the rain, her boots sinking in the mud. When her flashlight fell upon the scene, her heart shattered. The mother dog's eyes were swollen, her fur matted with mud and blood. Yet, when Sarah approached, the dog weakly lifted her head, placing one paw over the cardboard box, as if guarding what little she had left. Inside were her 3 puppies, tiny, frail, and barely breathing. Sarah wrapped them in her coat and rushed to the car, whispering, "Hold on, please hold on." The nearest vet clinic was 40 minutes away. Each minute felt like an eternity. Inside the car, she kept talking to the dog, whom she later named Luna, trying to keep her awake. "You're strong, girl, just a little longer." But halfway there, Luna stopped moving. Sarah's hand shook as she reached back to touch her. No breath, no heartbeat. Tears blurred her vision as she screamed, "No, not now." The car swerved slightly before she regained control. She couldn't stop, not yet. She had to save the puppies. At the clinic, the vets rushed to take the puppies. 2 were breathing faintly. 1 didn't respond at all. Hours passed in silence as Sarah sat outside the room, drenched in rain and tears. When the vet finally emerged, he shook his head slowly. Only 1 puppy, just 1, had survived. Sarah looked down at the tiny creature in her hands, eyes barely open, body weak but alive. "You're a fighter," she whispered. "Just like your mom." She named the puppy Hope. The next few weeks were a battle of sleepless nights and endless care. Sarah fed Hope with a syringe every 2 hours, kept her warm under blankets, and spoke to her softly, telling her stories about the mother who gave everything for her. As the days turned into months, Hope began to grow stronger. Her fur thickened, her legs steadied, and her eyes, bright golden eyes, began to shine. But Sarah couldn't forget Luna. She visited the bridge often, placing flowers where she found. Each visit reminded her why she did this work. Not for fame or money, but for lives that couldn't speak for themselves. One morning, as Sarah took Hope to the park, a little girl named Emily ran over. She was recovering from a car accident and had been afraid of dogs ever since. But when she saw Hope, something changed. Hope wagged her tail, sat gently, and placed her head on Emily's lap. The girl smiled for the first time in months. Her mother, with tears in her eyes, turned to Sarah. "Maybe she's what Emily needs." Sarah hesitated. Letting go was always the hardest part, but she knew this was the right. The morning sun painted the sky in gold as little Hope chased butterflies across the park. She was no longer that weak puppy who once trembled in the rain. But what Sarah didn't know was that Hope's story was about to repeat itself, and this time she would become the rescuer. Months had passed since Sarah said goodbye to Hope. Hope now lived happily with Emily, the little girl who had once been afraid of everything. They were inseparable. Hope slept beside her bed, followed her to school gates, and comforted her during therapy. Emily's laughter filled their home again. Her mother often said, "Hope didn't just heal Emily, she healed all of us, but life has a way of testing even the strongest bonds." One rainy evening, eerily similar to the night Sarah found Luna, Emily and her mother were driving home. A sudden crash echoed through the road. Their car slid off the side, landing near a small ditch. Hope, who was in the back seat, was thrown out by the impact. Bruised but alive, she limped back toward the smoking car, barking desperately. Inside, Emily was trapped, crying, scared, unable to move. Hope scratched at the car door, barking louder and louder until nearby villagers came running. When rescuers arrived, they said they only found the car because they followed the sound of the dog's cries. Hope didn't move from Emily's side until she was safe. Emily survived, but suffered a broken leg. Hope had a deep wound on her paw, but she refused to rest. She sat by Emily's hospital bed every single day. Doctors and nurses were amazed. "She doesn't even eat until the girl wakes up," one nurse whispered. When Emily finally opened her eyes, the first thing she saw was Hope's golden fur resting beside her hand. Her weak voice whispered, "Huh? You saved me." Again, the news spread quickly. A dog saves girl after car crash. Sarah, who had rescued Hope months ago, saw the story online. Her eyes filled with tears as she whispered, "Aluna, your spirit lives on." She visited Emily and Hope in the hospital. When Hope saw her, she jumped into her arms, tail wagging wildly. It was a reunion filled with emotion. Rescuer and rescued meeting again under brighter skies. Sarah smiled. "You were once the one being saved. Now you're saving others." Inspired by Hope's courage, Sarah and Emily decided to start something new together. Aluna's Promise Foundation, a rescue group dedicated to saving abandoned and injured dogs. Their first mission came quickly. A call about a mother dog and her puppy stranded after a flood in a nearby village. Hope led the rescue team herself, sniffing through the debris and barking to alert Sarah. When they found the frightened mother dog, she was guarding her puppies, just like Luna once did. It was a full circle, life repeating itself in the most beautiful way. Months later, the foundation grew, saving dozens of dogs. Emily had fully recovered, and every rescued animal was treated like family. On Luna's anniversary, Sarah, Emily, and Hope stood by the old bridge where it all began. Sarah placed flowers there and whispered softly, "You saved one life that night, Luna, and through that life, you've saved many more." Hope barked once softly.